is it any good, right? If you come to the stream and if you're wondering, is this game any good? Right away, if you are a gameplay first player, I wouldn't recommend Starfield because, well, there isn't so much to do. It's a very massive open world with not a lot of stuff in it, in my opinion, at least not the things I would like to have. And then it also, what it does have is, even though it has, for me, no performance issues and the visuals are amazing, it does have a lot of loading times into areas, out of areas, into areas, out of areas, and it still has the thing that I feel like plagues Bethesda games and maybe some open world games, where you have to go to an NPC, talk to them, then you go to the next NPC, talk to them, then you go back to the first NPC, and you rinse and repeat that many, many times to progress the story, the quest line, or whatever you do. I don't understand that part in 2023 when in real life you can just call up someone or message them or send them a goddamn picture. You know what I mean? I know why they do it. It's because they want to show off the game, right? They want to show off how beautiful it is, the animations and everything. But the problem with this, you then make the game, in my opinion, a lot worse. And it's not really fun if you do it that way. I will lower the volume quite a bit or else it will blow our ears out. I also, on a driver level, in the NVIDIA settings, I limit the game, I think it works, I limit the game to 60 FPS because, not because I have performance issues, it's because the game, first of all, doesn't allow you to limit your FPS, which I do not understand why. It makes no sense. I actually just have the problem because I have VSync on and I have a 144Hz monitor. It jumps up when I'm inside something, like inside a ship, and then it drops down to 60 or below 60 when I'm outside. And it feels like it's very jarring, you know? Like you have this, it feels really weird. Anyhow, that's a very specific issue to me. I will be playing on ultra wide because the game, as mentioned, visually, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful game. Okay, I have nearly 9 hours. After today, I will have a little bit more. I cannot show you any main quests or something. I might do them, but I cannot tell you anything about the story because I'm a gameplay first kind of player, and I have literally skipped it all. So, sorry for that. Oh yeah, that's where I was. Yeah, I have no other mods installed, by the way. So if you hear about certain mods and things, I do not have them. And the game is already breaking my PC. Okay. That is bad. That is very bad. If the game breaks my PC right now, then we'll have to go to this and try if that works. But yeah, worst case scenario, I cannot play Starfield on stream. Wow. Okay. Well.
Those crabs ain't gonna steal themselves.
Sup, brother, that just walked in front of me. Alright, well, ain't looking good. Guess I cannot show you the game. It still doesn't work for me, which is a shame. That means I will show you some recordings of the game and maybe we can talk a little bit about it. And that's pretty much it, because I apparently cannot play this video game on stream. Let me actually check, not that I'm an idiot like last time. So the reason why it didn't work last time was because I had Shadowplay on. I do not have it on right now. I think, let me check again. Am I recording right now live? I am not recording anything. So literally me streaming the game doesn't work. That might very well be a CPU issue. But Yeah. Shame. Shame. Oh well, that means I can only show you some of my... Thankfully, I recorded my first session. If I can find it. There it is. Right, well, I guess I will just show you my first session on when I played the game. And we're gonna chat a little bit about Starfield, I guess. If you've played the game, if you haven't played the game. And yeah. So, as mentioned, I feel like it has... Yeah, just in general, some issues in terms of... It's very Bethesda-like, or maybe it just still holds on to this old system like Skyrim and Fallout, because it just has the issue of you have to go from NPC to NPC, and as someone who's a gameplay first kind of player, right? Why would I play a sci-fi open world game from Bethesda specifically? Because I think Bethesda focuses a lot on NPCs and quest lines and interactions, right? Right away, I might be just playing the wrong game, right? Like, right away, I might not be the type of player for this type of game. And that's fair. That's a fair point. But objectively, I still just see massive issues with the game, mostly on how they do the gameplay, right? Or the minute-to-minute gameplay on what you're actually doing. And it, on one side, kind of takes me out of the immersion, which I think this game wants you to have, right? The game wants you to be immersed, I think. And it just really takes me out how in this sci-fi adventure that is 300 years... Well, I don't know if it's the same world as we're in now, 300 years in the future, but it's still... you can travel to stars, okay? That is in light years. So it's way beyond our technology, okay? So I do not understand how they haven't done a better system when it comes to quests and getting quests and finishing quests. I do not understand. I truly don't. Because if you don't know, and I mentioned it earlier, it's still the same thing. You go to an NPC, you get the quest, and by the way, I'm not playing, this is a recording of my very first play session. I recorded the very first 4 hours of me playing the game, so yeah. And I'm also really happy how the recording looks. It's beautiful. You will definitely not have that on any stream or YouTube because the bitrate fucks it. So yeah, I highly recommend actually playing the game if it's possible, not watching a YouTube video and be like, this game looks bad! Because yeah, the bitrate sucks, right? You have like a 20k bitrate. I can record this game in 150k and you don't even get close to what it looks like, I think. Anyhow, very technical. Still, I'm just really disliking the whole, oh, go to this NPC and get the quest, and then go to the next NPC because that NPC has issues with that NPC, and then you go to this one, and then you go back and forth 2-3 times potentially, then you go to some abandoned mine, and then you go back. I think this was the Mars mission I'm talking about, and then you clear that out, then you go back to NPC A, tell him what you did, and they're like, sweet, then go to NPC B and tell him what you got now from NPC A, and it's like so much back and forth. And I know it's probably boring to hear because it is boring to do. It is very boring to do in this game, and I do not understand how in this world, which is 300 years in the future, and we have this technology right now called a fucking smartphone. Call the people. Call them. Just FaceTime them, please. I do not understand why they don't do that. I mean, I do understand because, you know, the face animations and all that jazz, right? That people spend hours and hours on. They want to show it off, of course. But like, you are actually making it worse now and pulling me out of the immersion. Because a world that is 300 years in the future, where you can space travel with a click of a button. But you don't have the possibility to call someone or FaceTime someone, makes absolutely no sense. In Fallout, I understand because they're still trying to maybe get the systems back up, right? The whole world was like nuclear war and everything. I can understand it there. To a degree, you know, walkie-talkies are still a thing, I think, in Fallout. And if not, they should be. But like, there should be something about... You should be able to just call NPCs and be like, you did this, and even take a picture of it. Potentially, it would be going beyond that. I hope, by the way, this is part of my script of the video, YouTube video I will do for this game, where I go a lot more in depth and not jump all over the place because it's live. I wish the game could do something like, you have a camera on your visor that records everything, and when main things happen, like quest triggers, it records the first 7 seconds before and after or something, and then you send that to the NPC and tell him, yo bro, I did it, and he's like, really? Alright, send me the data, and it automatically sends it. And he sees it that you did the job, and then you can move on, right? And then the quest line progresses. That would make so much more sense than, because right now in this game, if an NPC tells you, go to the abandoned mine and kill Frank cause he's a bitch or whatever, I don't know. So just a normal kill quest. No. You do the quest, you kill Frank in that kill quest, and then, at the insane part, you then go back to the NPC, tell him, yeah, I did it, and he's like, oh, okay, cool, thanks. How on earth do they not want any proof that you actually did it? I don't understand. I truly don't understand, right? I understand in Path of Exile, because it's an RPG, it's very focused on action, right? So that would be a little bit weird. Also, I know it's a ton of work doing that, actually. But in a game that is about immersion, which Starfield wants to be, I think, it makes no sense why this isn't like the standard thing. I don't know why they didn't from the start think of this. As in, record everything with a camera on your visor on what's happening, take a picture or a short video clip that you then see yourself, which you send to the NPC and be like, yo, I did the job, send me my money, and then he sends you your money, because I'm sure there's some banking system. There needs to be some system, right? I don't know. It just... I would be even fine if he doesn't send you the money through some magic system and you actually have to get to him because no one trusts themselves and maybe things can be hacked. And I would be like, all right, I get that. I will then go to the NPC every 4 hours and, you know, load up my credit stick or whatever and be like, boom, 15,000 credits, thanks, because I did the last 6 jobs for you, right? That would be awesome. But that's not the case. You have to still go to NPCs, go through multiple loading screens. Okay, I'm gonna skip all this. By the way, I am playing a woman. There you go. Gonna skip all this. So yeah, this is actually the big moment. This is kind of like the vault opening moment. And it has half or a third of the impact, in my opinion, because One, you're constantly bumping into the NPCs. Okay, so it's like super awkward. You can't walk through them, thankfully, but then also you bump into them. So why are they there? You know what I mean? Like, it's so awkward. I don't know. Again, I can't imagine, as a writer of this game, or multiple writers that wrote this, you couldn't have taken 2 more days to rethink the intro of this game. Because if you don't realize what's happening right now, it's, again, the typical story. You are the chosen one. You are the hero. Because now this guy comes out, again, super unimmersive how he doesn't talk to you. This individual is busy on the top right. Then you have to wait until he gets to the place, right? This is so immersion breaking and so Bethesda-like that it's, I feel like, is this really the next gen open world game we want? Is this truly next gen? Because this just feels like we added a shit ton of resolution to all our textures, had 2 times more artists work on everything. Thank you. The game is gorgeous, as you can see. Literally just stop this frame. Like, the background, the reflections on the ground, the texture work, like everything is just... The suits themselves look incredible. I think I even look at Vasco's... I think I go up behind Vasco. I don't know why I went behind Vasco. You can actually see, yeah, I just went very close to him and I was like, holy shit, look at those textures. It's a gorgeous game.
So, you found something?
But again, there's this like awkward still Bethesda thing that the formula they have been following since, I don't know, fucking Fallout 3. And they won't let go of it. They are advanced, they're going a little bit more this time. They change up a few things. For example, if you then have a conversation with one person or multiple persons, it cuts between them, you know, like a little cut in. I don't know if you call that a smash cut, I don't think. But yeah, a zoom cut maybe, I don't know. So that's kind of cool, right? Now Barret is in focus, the very strong depth of field, so everything is blurred out and you can actually see the character. It's cool, but still... I dislike the whole you are the chosen one or you're the hero kind of story. It has been told so many times. And I can't imagine that we can't tell a different story nowadays. Because Path of Exile does. Because in Path of Exile, you are in exile. You were exiled from an island to a continent and have to survive now. This is so much more interesting than being a chosen one, cause you aren't. You're in exile. You're half dead the moment you start the game, right? And that was the amazing part about Path of Exile, or still is the great part about Path of Exile, because I think it gives you so much more opportunity and believability in the world than you being someone like you just arrived. By the way, you just arrived at the mine. You're an absolute nobody. They break down the one wall that magically, suddenly is the one thing to get the artifact, or one of many artifacts, and they let you explore this massive new cave? That makes no sense, right? Like in an abandoned mine, you would have like multiple big people that explore the area, a new area first, and then the smaller peons explore it further or mine stuff, right? So it makes no sense writing wise. It's so bad. It's so bad. I don't know. Like, it instantly took me out. It's like, you are the... And right now, you aren't really the chosen one yet. But after this fight, you are. Because you touched the artifact and you saw some sort of vision. Which people, for some reason, believe you, by the way. Like, they don't need any proof. You know? I mean, you can't give them any proof, right? But again, that's the problem. You pull me out of my immersive gameplay, right? It just pulls me right out. And... Barret is like, oh, you saw the vision too? Well, Here, have my ship and have my robot and go fly away. Go fly to New Atlantis and meet up with my crew. Who would do that? It is so unbelievable. And I can't imagine that a writer team that are actually good at writing things, because I'm not good writing my scripts, but I can see this sucks. This is just a really bad first like introduction to the characters and even yourself, right?
Dug up the artifact, right? That means it's gone.
But if you can look past all this story part and you're like, you know what? I'm here for the gameplay, right? You don't care about the story and you just want to have some fun gameplay. I understand that. I, at some point, also said screw the story and started skipping stuff. Skipping stuff is also fucking annoying. Why? Because you can't quickly skip through the dialogue. It's not like in Path of Exile where you can click on an NPC that has an exclamation mark. You click it, then you click out of the window and the conversation is done and you get the reward, the quest item or whatever it is, right? And it instantly tells you go to this place. Path of Exile goes actually beyond that, where you don't even need to talk to NPCs. The world is open. You can explore it, do the quest before you even talk to the NPC, and then go back to just get the reward. That's, by the way, how people mostly play Path of Exile. Because you don't care about the dialogue. You know where to go. And funny enough, and that's the good part, that I don't know if this game does that, the quest trigger doesn't trigger the thing in the world. It's always there in Path of Exile, right? The boss doesn't spawn because the NPC said, yo, kill that boss, and then the boss spawns, because that would be awful, right? And Path of Exile doesn't do that. I don't know if Starfield does that, but I wish something like this in Starfield would be a thing, where I can just skip through the dialogue, first of all, which you can't really do. You can spam E, but I think every half a second or something, it actually jumps to the next line. Then you wait a little bit, jumps to the next line. You wait a little bit, jumps to the next line, right? It's not like brrp, and you're done. Brrp, you're done, right? That doesn't work. So that's bad for someone who's a gameplay first kind of player, right? I want to play the game. I want to go through the world, but I'm stuck in this fucking NPC dialogue that is, again, very generic, and all these reply options also are, I don't know, in my opinion, just... They're either very similar to each other or not, and then also just, if you have like a line between super extreme and super evil or I don't know, like you have two extremes, right? And I feel like Starfield reply options is about here. It's like in this window usually. It's not the extremes, it's right here. So whatever you answer, it kind of doesn't really matter. At least that's what it feels like to me. Because what I want is an extreme option where I say, give me the answer, let's go, right? Just skip it, go. Bro, I'm gonna do your job. I don't need to suck you off to get your quest line, just go. Even better would be if I could do the quest line before I even talk to the NPC. Which I don't know if it would work. I haven't tried that, to be honest. But... there's like you kind of need some, I feel like quests need to be massively improved in future Bethesda games. This is actually where I like stopped moving for a bit and just appreciated how the game looks like, because again, the game is gorgeous, right? It's a screenshot heaven, or screenshot maker heaven, right? But visuals only get you so far, right? I need gameplay. I need gameplay. Yeah. I could ramble on for a long time. And I will definitely say most of this stuff anyways in my YouTube video, but I would have loved to play the game again live, but it doesn't fucking work. It doesn't work. My OBS literally dies because I don't know if the game is just poorly optimized or I don't know what it does, but it really hates my PC, so sorry for that. But you have my recording of the first 4 hours, which we might skip at some point, or skip ahead a little bit. But yeah, gorgeous, right? That the game looks and works this. This is like amazing. Again, visually, it's awesome. But like there's I feel like there's no meat on the bone. That's a good. It's like you have a perfectly cooked chicken, you know? Like you take it out of the oven, you put it down, and you look at it and you're like, my God, this is perfect. It looks amazing. And then you cut into it, and then it's empty. It's just the skin, you know? That's a little bit what Starfield feels a bit sometimes, where some things feel so empty. Mostly the worlds feel super empty. And it's even worse because I wouldn't mind the world being empty if you give me an option to move quickly through the world, which the game doesn't do again. I would understand it, or I understood it in Fallout, but in this sci-fi world, not having a fucking vehicle is a crime. It is a literal crime to not have a vehicle, or magic boots that make me run faster, right? Wouldn't it be super cool to, I don't know, lean forward and suddenly you have like a boost in your, like, similar to like, I don't know, like Zero Suit Samus, right? Where you just boost over the ground, you like, and just boost your way through. That would be sick as fuck. Can't have that in this sci-fi world, apparently. It's like, why? There's so many things that are so obvious, right? Because you only have to like think, what do we have right now in our reality in 2023? Technically 2018 or 2019 when they started making this game. And then think 300 years in the future. So you can take the stuff that is scuffed right now and actually make it super good in 300 years for this game. And then also think of crazy new stuff. 2019 or 2020, you would have probably thought about maybe AI, right? Now we know ChatGPT is a thing, so any sci-fi game that doesn't have that would be, why not? It doesn't need to have ChatGPT built into it. Dear God, no. No, that's not what I'm talking about, right? You don't want to start a game and start an LLM, right? And large language model. Dear God, no. But a system that is like ChatGPT in the game would make total sense for the sci-fi game, right? Like something that you can show text to, I don't know. Like it doesn't need to be smart as in a literal AI. It can just be you show it X and it knows the answer Y. Super basic stuff, right? But I don't know. I don't know. By the way, I had no real issue with the fighting right now here. This was absolutely fine. This all made sense more or less, right? How to work it out, like the bottom left on how to up your lasers and your engine and all that. That made all sense. You just hold Alt and then press WASD. That made absolute sense to me. Like, I am a gamer. I play video games, so that isn't something like... It's new. It's definitely a new control that I haven't seen before, but it made sense to me. What I had the issues with is... It just felt boring after some time. Like after 4 hours, or I think after 6 hours, maybe something like this, I was like, do I want to fight? Do I want a space flight thing? Do I want that? Because you know what happens in space flight that, boink. The problem is that you kind of like fly in a circle or something, or around each other, because you constantly try to lock onto the enemy, right? So it tries to constantly dodge your vision. So 90% of a fight is not seeing an enemy until the 5 seconds you see the enemy, shoot all your stuff, and then he flies over you and he's out of your vision and you try to follow him again. I can't imagine that you couldn't do that better. Like, or maybe it's just like, yeah, this is what space fights would be. It's, you know. But I feel like that's just so boring. I mean, it's also technically maybe how... I don't know how. I can imagine that flying and not being in a spaceship, but on Earth, you know, just flying through the air, that would be similar combat, right? You just fly through the air and try to lock onto the enemy constantly. But I'm sorry, like, gameplay-wise, I didn't enjoy that. I understood the controls and everything after some time, but there was no reason for me to upgrade my ship, get a new ship, because it's expensive as fuck. Especially good ships are quite expensive. I think I saw one that was really good. But I think it was 120,000 credits. Which I do have in the game now, after like 8 hours of playtime. But, again, there is no reason, right? You don't fly faster to planets because you fast travel everything anyways. Then you have more shield. I guess this might matter when you fight against enemies, but... bonk. I think I didn't understand the whole shield and hull, which it feels a little bit weird, where if you on the bottom right you can see, like right here, you can actually see that my shield is offline, thus my hull gets damaged. You can magically recover your hull by pressing 0. It's kind of like a med pack for your ship, right? A repair. And I never really understood, does this have a limit? How often can I do this in a fight? Do I have to buy repairs from a ship? I don't know. I just pressed 0 at some point and it magically healed itself, you know, and I was like, alright, cool, moving on, you know, and then at some point it breaks apart. Again, it looks cool, right? These fights look cool. But after 5 fights, you kind of know what's gonna happen, right? There's no surprise. There's no, like, this ship dodges you in. No, it's space, I don't know, spaceship fights. I guess, you know. Yeah. I don't know. It's so weird. It's so weird, this game. It has, like, so many... There's a lot. You know, so many planets, so many areas, so many buildings, so many characters, so many NPCs. Even though the normal NPCs that walk around, it's less than in Cyberpunk, I think. But they are as bad or worse than in Cyberpunk, in my opinion. So, you know, the basic peons that just walk around to make the world feel alive. You will see it maybe, I think you will see it in New Atlantis. It's right away, it's a video game. Right away you notice, okay, this is a video game, right? It's not immersive enough. And partially because the character models are... That's probably the only visual part that I kind of dislike. The character models look really bad sometimes. And I wonder... I really wonder if you... I mean, I'm gonna make that point much better in my YouTube video. I wonder if it's even a good idea. I think right now I was struggling with the UI because I didn't know how to actually, you know, go to my objective. Yeah, now I saw on the bottom right it says mission, and you literally go into your mission, you press set course, which is the R button. On the bottom right you can see set course. I think I did see it right now, maybe. And it literally zooms the camera to the place. So yeah, it zooms out. Yeah, exactly. It zooms out and is like, boop, boop, there you go. That's where you have to go. And then you lock on and then you just fast travel and you go. There is no traveling like in No Man's Sky. You don't go into the planet and land or go out of the planet. That doesn't exist. I think in this game. I don't think it exists. Which is, again, a shame, where it lacks in things that you kind of expect for a next-gen game, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah, by the way, you're now in front of the planet and, again, have to say... I think you... Usually, I think I have to scan the planet and then say, yes, I want to go in. So it doesn't, like, instantly land. It, like, the minimap or this map shows you where the lab is, but you still have to scan and then I think you can land. So you travel to the planet first and then to then you can actually land. But this is only, I think, the first time. Now that I have landed at this place, I think you can just fast travel everywhere and wherever you want. Like, you go from this planet to this planet in one loading screen. Which is, I guess, fine, immersive-wise, but I don't know. That's where I accept that it's a video game, right, with fast travel. But some stuff with, like I mentioned, with the world, it's a bit of a shame, because I wish these open world games wouldn't be as big, right? I wish they would make them as big as Skyrim, which was already huge, and fill it to the brim with content. So much content, right? Left, right, center, quest lines that converge into each other because NPC A knows NPC B, and you had NPC A in your party that follows you then, and they meet and have a dialogue. Like, more like this. There needs to be so much more like crossover with quests. And you can only, I think, do that if you make the world smaller, more concise, and actually fill it with stuff instead of going bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you have Starfield, which has, a few areas you can explore, but they're so far away because it's a planet, more or less. I think it's actually just a giant rectangle again that you can explore. Either way, I haven't really gone to the edges because I was not interested, because it's so slow to move around, because again, they didn't think of fucking gameplay of adding some way to move faster in a game that is 300 years in the future. We have fucking bikes right now since, I don't know, 150 years in this reality, and you can't tell me they can't make some sci-fi version in Starfield. Shut the front door. Like, come on. Why? No, you have to walk over to the goddamn abandoned mine that is really far away. And I don't think I have that recorded here right now. But on Mars, there is literally an abandoned mine that is ultra far away. The game, because you scan the planet before, and then when you land on the planet, you have the map overview, right? You have the map, and you actually see what's happening. By the way, scanning also sucks. Metroid Prime did it perfectly. I don't know why they haven't learned that you can scan something. You have to meet something multiple times. I think you have to see everything multiple times to 100% scan it. It makes no sense. Metroid Prime did this like 20 years ago. Bro, just do what they do. What the fuck? There's so many things. It's like, copy what's good and don't, I don't know. And I think that the issue is, again, they're tightly gripping. Like, Bethesda holds on to their formula since Fallout 3. They will not let go. They will not change things to a massive degree. They're just holding on for dear life. And it just doesn't work anymore. I feel like it's just again, I feel like some placements and like the world itself kind of makes sense how it's maybe laid out, but I feel like sometimes the way to traverse it is just, cool, I can run from A to B. Yeah, but you're 300 years in the future. Just think for 5 seconds what you need in this sci-fi world, or what would be possible, right? Just, that would be the first game design meeting at Bethesda. All right, we're making Starfield, a game that's 300 years in the future. What are the main pillars in this game in terms of game design, right? Movement. Let's go. What do we have, right? From wall jumping, from wall climbing to boosting, which this game has, to fast running because of a boost pack that you put on your fucking shoes. We have Mars rovers right now in reality that are driving around on Mars, right? How the heck do we not have something where I can sit in and zoom over the planet in 300 years? Yeah, it might cost me 75,000 credits, but fucking give it to me, show it. Doesn't exist. I'm like, guys, come on. I don't even need to customize it, right? I don't want to customize my Mars rover that is actually a goddamn Jeep and I just blast through the blast over the planet's surface, right? I don't need to customize that, right? That can be in Starfield 2 in the next game, right? You iterate on that idea, but you first need that idea in your game. Nah. Walking. Have you heard about feet? Yeah, the internet has told me about feet. Very clearly. You can use them in a variety of ways, but this game uses it for running, walking. Actually a lot of running. A ton of running. I don't know. By the way, this is, I think, your very first mission. I think the game wants you to actually come here right away, right there. I mean, technically, you have your ship. You can go wherever the fuck you want, right? So that's kind of cool, I guess, that the game still allows you this freedom, as in, hey, if you like that planet over there, go there. Go ahead. Now just explore, right? That's great. That's great. Yeah. I think combat itself was kind of fine. It definitely was a lot slower than I expected. Like, it feels like the reloading is quite slow, the attacking is slow, you can get stunned very easily. Like, if I attack someone right here, and they, hit me while I try to attack, I instantly get stunned. But it's also a little bit of a long, awkward stun, so, I don't know. But overall, combat was, I think, kind of fine. But it's, again, not, like, deep enough for me to kind of care. That was nasty. Thankfully, he comes down again. So, yeah. It's something... I don't know, they have, like, as you probably saw earlier, I don't know if you saw that. What was it? I think here. Yeah, you actually see, the little symbol, like the purple thing. So there are similar things like in, I don't want to compare it like to Destiny, but ARPGs, right? You have like your normal loot, then your magic loot, your special loot, and then some legendary loot. That is actually a thing called legendary item. And, again, they aren't going far enough with this idea where you can actually change the modifiers. They actually have modifiers, right? It's so... Because that could be an interesting system, right? An actual crafting system. Or something where you change your weapon that you have just got and can improve it a little bit. I don't think that exists. If it does exist, I'm sorry, I probably overlooked it. I know there is a crafting station and research station, but again, it's... That's another problem. Getting resources in this game sucks. It sucks so hard. I ignored it for 8 hours. I ignored it because it's just annoying. Because you have to... Oh yeah, I hate digilogs. They're bad. I don't know. I think I locked myself out of one before. I think that was actually in this. Yeah. I think I solved that one, right? Yeah, I solved that one. And maybe I think I was an idiot. Oh yeah, I think it's this door, right? Yeah, I think this door I couldn't do. Or maybe I'm just Pepega. I think I was just Pepega. Yeah, I used this. And then I realized I think I used the wrong one. Yeah. And I think you can go back, because the R button on the bottom right, you can actually see it right now, it's undo. So you undo it, and it removes a digipick. It's like... Oh my god. It's so annoying, because a digipick is like a lockpick, or, you know, like, it's just... It's similar to what they already have. Right now, it's just a different system. But the thing is, you can go back, but it uses another digipick. Do you know how rare digipicks are? Do you know? Because I never found... Well, I found some, but it's so rare. I usually ran around with maybe one or two, right? But the moment you you use one to even start hacking the thing. And if you did one mistake and you have to go back, fuck you if you have no digipick. So now you have to cancel, you have to exit it because you're stuck because you used the wrong lock thing on previously that you actually need to use afterwards. And now when you go back to it with a new digipick, you actually start from the beginning again, not from where you left it. Which I kind of understand, but it's just yeah. I again, bad first experience, and I ignored the system. I just ignored the system from, I don't know, where are we right now? Minute 54 of playing this video game for the very first time. This is my very first playthrough, right? Or, sorry, not playthrough. This is my first. Technically, I'm giving you my first impression. I haven't played through the game because I won't. I literally stopped playing. I wanted to play it right now, but, you know, had some issues playing the game again. Sadly, it doesn't work with my OBS, or I don't know. I thought it was shadow play. I just can't stream this game, which is a shame. Oh well. Maybe it's also the resolution. Maybe because I'm playing this game in like ultra wide. Maybe it dislikes that, but I could probably try this. But to be honest, I can't show you more than already what's in here. Like in these 4 hours, it's very. You rinse and repeat that, right? There is nothing like crazy new. There is no like crazy crafting. There is some research that I dislike. There's some cooking, which is dumb because you can craft something and heal yourself by 2 health. Or you walk 2 meters to the right, lay down, and instantly heal yourself. Well done, Bethesda. Didn't think that one through, did you? You know? And the buffs are also like, yo, you get XP buffs for 3 minutes. And I'm like, fuck you. You know, just give me a 1% XP buff forever, you know? And then make crafting, like make cooking really rare. Not something you do all the time, right? It's just, or maybe you can have cooking that is just very basic items. And then the super special items that are permanent, right? If you want to have like this immersion, right, and this role-playing possibility of, yeah, I'm cooking for someone on my ship while you're like, it's kind of like GTA role-playing, right? Maybe you have Starfield role-playing. Then I understand if they think of this and want to add basic cooking recipes that everyone can do very easily. So for those role-players. But I just... I mean, I already hate this in games where it's a usable item and it has, I don't know, it lasts literal minutes when I know I'm going to play this game for literal hours. You know, I'm like, what are you doing?
The Frontier has a new captain.
The fuck?
Working with Barrett, or did you pry the ship key?
I don't know. Because keep in mind, using the item, you have to usually go through like 6 menus or have to tab out again, and it's like super annoying. So it's not even like quick and nice to use the item, so I never do. Same with Pokemon games, right, where you have like special X. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna like go through my items, use it, and then have to click through like 6 dialogue options and be like, yes, I want to use this, yes, I want to use some of this Pokemon. I don't know. Even though special X and all this stuff in Pokemon is actually useful and powerful, in this game it's quite powerful. I think some movement speed, I think it's amp, I think gives you 35% movement speed, which is quite a lot, right? But again, for 3 fucking minutes. And you know, screw you when I think you're in a NPC dialogue 2 seconds later, because I think that timer continues. I think it also doesn't show you on screen what buffs you have, so that's also really cool. Very good. Someone didn't think that one through, that you should actually see your buffs that you have active live on screen. I don't even know where you could look that up if you have a buff active. Probably somewhere in the inventory. But yeah, I didn't see something on screen like over the minimap, for example, or technically left to the minimap you could have a symbol or like a row of symbols, right, that show you, oh, you have this buff active. That doesn't exist. Kind of shit. Sorry, by the way, for hitting the microphone. This was actually a cool moment where I felt like I'm actually playing some sort of like Star. By the way, that fight alone doesn't matter. Keep in mind, I have to say, I am playing on easy. I am playing on easy because of... I probably would have alt for this game way earlier if I died more often. I think I died like 2-3 times. I think once on the ship and once on the ground. But again, because this game has the issue of not telling you when you're low health, I feel like this is the second game that did that mistake where it doesn't show you your health is low. You need to make it super obvious. Ain't doing it. Anyways, I think this moment maybe right here. Yeah, this moment right here. I was like, you know what? I can just jump because low gravity. I'm gonna jump over this, you know? I'm just gonna be like, let's go, right? That felt so sick. That felt so heckin' sick doing that, right? Wasn't a nice jump because I also didn't have the boost pack enabled yet. By the way, that is a thing you have to do. Like, which just makes not really a lot of sense, I guess, maybe, I don't know. I feel like boost packs should be items only and not a skill you learn, you know? What is the skill using a boost pack? If it's a mechanical thing, press the goddamn button. GG, well played. Nice skill you learn. If I can shoot a weapon, then I don't need to learn how to use a boost pack. Let's be honest. Also, my aim sucks, I know. Yeah, right now, this was the moment I learned about CO2 and oxygen. God, I hate it. I don't know if I want to talk about the rest. It's so bad. So, TLDR, on the bottom left, you see O2 and CO2. Your oxygen levels and your CO2 levels. If you use oxygen, you produce CO2. The white bar is oxygen. That is usually full. Now that I'm running, you can see that it depletes. If it's depleted, my CO2 level goes up dramatically. Like, very quickly. This is also right now because I am overcumbered because I have... See, I think running while overcumbered drains your oxygen. So, you know, I have too much stuff in my inventory. I'm overweight. Not like overweight as in fat, but overweight as in I have too much loot, right? And your oxygen level drops. And if the red bar is all the way full, you lose health. One, this is annoying AF. Because in my opinion, running should never cost you stamina in games. Just hot take. You should never punish me for wanting to explore your game that is about exploration. If you do, screw you. You literally disincentivize me. Is that a word? Disincentivize me. Or you do not want me to actually explore your game if you give me fucking stamina while running. During combat, totally fine with that. You know how Dark Souls does it. Absolutely fine with that, right? But running, no. Just make it, make it fun. I know Fallout had the same thing, but let's be honest. This is 300 years in the future. This is sci-fi. Let's think of smarter things. This is the next gen open world game we're making. Let's think through some issues. Let's think this through. Is this a good idea? Could we think of anything else? No, is the answer. Good. Yeah, and the bad thing with oxygen and everything, you can literally ignore that if you're running towards your ship. Because you run and run and run, right? You're overcumbered, you have too much loot on you because you just hoarded something, right? And you're like, all right, I got all this loot, which the game presents me, which I'm gonna pick up because I don't even know if the game removes the loot if you then fly away, sell the stuff you have, and then go back to get the loot you left on the ground. I'm 90% sure it despawns it, which I don't even want to know. Please don't tell me because this will make me more angry. Good. You have too much loot now. You were inside. You fought some enemies, and now you're like, all right, I have all this loot. I want to sell it. Let me run back to my ship because there is no other way of movement in this game. So you run back to your ship. Your oxygen drops drastically. Your CO2 ramps up. You're now losing health. It doesn't matter. If you are barely alive when you go back to your ship, like literally you have a slither of health, you just sleep in your bed in your ship for 1 hour, which is like 4 seconds loading time, or nothing actually. It's just like 4 seconds, whatever. You sleep for an hour and your health is back full and your oxygen as well. And nothing else happened. It's actually good doing that because I think there's a skill that says, I think the weight skill says you should run with 75% capacity or weight capacity filled to unlock the next skill. Oh my god, I didn't even think about the skills. Bro, my YouTube script is gonna be so long. I didn't even think of the skills. So, how do you unlock skills in this game? Well, the first level is always there. To then get the next skill, you need to do challenges. So it's not only, you have 20 skill points. Let me just click, done, right? Let me go full on weight, full on pistol damage, or whatever you want. That's not how you do it. What you have to do is actually, by the way, I'm trying to fly into the planet right now, like in No Man's Sky. Ain't working, So I just fast travel because that's what the game wants you to do. Kind of sad. So to unlock a skill to unlock skill 2, 3, and 4 of a skill you already have, you need to do challenges, which the game presents after you got that skill and see that and want to get the next skill. It's usually something along the lines of, well, for weight, it was just run with 75% capacity around, right? And I'm like, okay, I guess. I mean, it's literally the beginning of the game where someone tells you that, I think. Well, again, I think someone tells you this who isn't in the main storyline. So technically, you might not even realize this. So again, I really tried to kind of like appreciate this game for what it is, right? And try to immerse myself. And again, the more I try to immerse myself, the more the game has just lacks in so many ways. Where I'm like, man, it's just... It's just the character models of all these NPCs are just super scuffed and weird. It still feels like a clear Bethesda game, where everything is just a little bit awkward between NPCs. There's always like this little pause between lines, which is like, man, can't we just get rid of that, for fuck's sake? These NPCs just walk around in random ways, that don't really have a goal or go somewhere, It's still like, Skyrim or Oblivion levels or whatever the heck it is, I mean, definitely the clothing and everything looks like higher textures, right? But the moment you look at the models themselves, it's like, holy heck, This is clearly not next gen, in my opinion. And I think I'm guessing, I would love to know if any developer actually can tell me that. I don't know if it's a hardware issue, as in we can't put higher quality models in the game because otherwise rip your GPU, right? And rip frame rate. Or if it's more like they don't want to spend the time, right? I don't know what it is. Because we clearly have better models, right? Just look at the certain 3D animations. Right. But again, these are render that take hours and hours and hours, right?
We have a lot to talk about.
I don't know.
Would you care
Like, Sarah's model actually looks fine. I think the hair still has, like, this... I don't know.
I see.
I mean, hair is very tough. It definitely... It moves, though, so let's be honest. So that's good.
This is just typical.
Yeah, that model is like... okay.
Scout mining outfit he uses.
So yeah, I'm gonna skip that a little bit, because the launch, there's a lot of dialogue. You know, we brought them the artifact, which I had up my bum, apparently. You know, it was magic. It was somewhere.
They're reacting. Look at how it's coming together.
And then it's like, you know,
Energy that's arcing between them, no manufactured material.
kind of giving you a little oh moment, right? And
Easy girl.
clearly shows there are many, many parts to the artifact, because I think the artifacts have... I think it's the Greek letter, or an artifact has a Greek letter associated with it, so I don't know how many Greek letters there are. If there are 26, 58, I have literally no idea right now.
Well, if we had all the answers, it wouldn't be exciting.
Amount of Greek letters.
Break away from the moment, but what are we going to do?
Greek alphabet.
So, are you ready to get to work? See if
24 letters, apparently. Alright, so we have 24 different artifacts, potentially, maybe some more that you have to find. And I think I found about 5 or 6. I think I never found one randomly.
Individually, they're just
I don't think so. I think they were always associated with some quests. Maybe there are some that aren't, but I can see that some are associated with quests, which makes sense, because it is kind of the main storyline, right, to find these artifacts. But yeah, now you're kind of in Constellation, which is like the main quest line, as in... Again, keep in mind, the reason why we're here is because we were the chosen one that touched the artifact that we had to break out. No one else. We, the newcomer, the newbie, had the opportunity to go into a brand new cave and find the artifact and break it out and touch it, you know? Of course. Sure. And people believed us that we saw a vision, and then
In the Eiffel time. That was intense, wasn't it?
some guy came,
Not overwhelming.
Barrett came, we fought the Crimson Fleet, which is another faction, like the evil faction, because Crimson Red. And then he gives you your ship,
Rock breaker may have been a bit
the robot. You go to the building where we fought the one guy, pirates, again, Crimson Fleet stuff.
frustrations lie
And then we finally are allowed to go to the Constellation where we are right now. So, yeah. So yeah, I actually took my time to listen to them and, you know, try to immerse myself a little bit in this.
For myself, it's hard to judge otherwise. Necessarily.
But yeah, sometimes I feel like the animation and the character models look fine or good.
Maybe it'll make sense later. We're gonna get to the bottom of
But my god, do I want some sort of like gameplay first approach from Bethesda sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, I wish so much that all this dialogue could happen while I run on the planet, which is massive and empty, from one location to another. And how do you do this? With the magic of a phone, which we have right now, not 300 years in the future, where it should also be a thing, right? A phone. I swear to God. Just, I don't know what I was searching here. Yeah. Oh no, you know that. Oh my God, it's a whole other problem. I couldn't find where to sell stuff at the beginning, and it was super annoying. That really pissed me off. Oh, so pissed me off is a strong word, but that really annoyed me. I know the person at the beginning actually told you. So if you arrive at New Atlantis, holy heck, where was this? Right here, I think you actually ask him, let me see what ships you have to sell. Where did you say I could sell things, right? That's actually an option, as you can see on the bottom. You will not heckin' believe this. And I'm shocked. I'm shocked how on one side they try to be so immersive and on the other, like, say, fuck it. You know where you can sell your stuff? By the way, I'm still overweight, right? I'm still uncumbered, whatever it says on the top right. You know where you sell stuff? This is the thing. This magic kiosk takes all your stuff. Everything. From weapons to resources to miscellaneous to ammo, everything can be partially bought and sold here. In no fucking way would I have imagined that in a sci-fi world, that there's a kiosk for that stuff. I also don't know where the magic, like the loot, comes out of. I'm guessing you drop the loot in here and it magically disappears. I have literally no idea. Yeah, so this is the thing, and I didn't do that. So I then was struggling for quite some time, traveling through the city, being overcumbered, until I finally found this place. Because I think around... Yeah, I was here, right? I read this, and I was like, oh, okay, oh my god, there's stuff, you know, there's like... Alright, let's read those, right? I pray to God, the game designers, the world designers, whatever, actually thought this through. Alright, embassy, district. Alright, I looked and I was like, nothing says selling. Nothing says commercial, anything along those lines, okay? And I'm like, shoot, where can I go, right? I was looking, and then I saw it. My eyes peaked, and I was like, does this say commercial district? Commercial means selling. And I was happy AF, because keep in mind, I struggled now for the past 10 minutes or something, I think maybe 5 minutes, running around, and as you can see on the bottom left, oxygen is gone, CO2 is rising, I will start losing health. And then, no, I cannot walk because I'm encumbered. I have too much weight. I literally have to stop moving. Who the fuck thought this is a good idea? Who? It's so bad. It's so annoying. And when I finally found... By the way, I just walked into random buildings because nothing is fucking explained. And the map, by the way, is useless. Even though you literally have a sci-fi game where I could probably... Like, again... We have Google Maps now. How is this not a thing in your video game? Just tell me where everything is. I'm mad. I'm mad as fuck. Good. I finally found the goddamn place. UC distribution, whatever. And she talks, and I can finally sell stuff, and I'm a happy boy. Until I realize she has a limit of vendor credits. Do you see this? Do you see this right here? That's how much money she has. She had, I think, around 5 to 6 to maybe 7,000 credits. That seems a lot at the start. But I quickly reached, or the other way around. I sold so many things because I was playing so quickly that I think the game has some sort of like, it like gives the NPCs credits after some time again. That time frame is way too short. I was sucking everyone dry of their money because I was selling so much stuff. Now, you have an issue when that happens. Because one, you want to sell stuff so you're empty so you can pick more stuff up so you don't constantly have the weight issue and oxygen problem. what you could do is then put it into your ship cargo, which, by the way, I didn't find for the first 3 hours. I didn't find it at all in the first 4 hours, and I had to Google it the next session. So that was cool. Anyways, you could put it in your ship, but even your ship has a limit, right? It still has like a physical limit, which doesn't matter because, let's be honest, it's a video game. I was at a kiosk and just randomly got money by throwing stuff into a black hole. Sure. But then we're talking about limit about ship cargo. Sure. Whatever. Good. Anyways. This is a whole issue, I feel like, in this game where this was, again, not properly thought through, maybe not properly play tested. I don't know. It's like you sell way more than you kind of buy, and some people don't even sell you enough of what you actually want. Because the one thing I always bought from NPCs when I found one was ammo. I bought a shit ton of ammo for the 2 weapons I usually used, which I think is like laser stuff and pistol. So that's that. And then they had money because I gave it to them. But then I quickly drained them of their money again because I had so much loot. Because I pick up everything. Because what else would I do? Would I just leave the loot on the ground after killing like 6 enemies? No, of course I pick it up, all of it, right? Which, by the way, is also annoying to pick up because there is not like a pick up all button. There's a E button with pick up stuff. And if you pick up R, you go into a menu. Which is like so dumb because it like covers the entire screen. Like literally you go into a menu to see the items that the enemy has. During combat, potentially, right? I don't know if the game pauses, but it's just dumb. Just give me a button that is like loot all, loot all, loot all. I don't know. It's...
Just at the beginning. We're going to be doing some old-fashioned detective work.
I'm probably just very aggressive towards this game because I just wish it would be so much better. Because I've realized the issues. But again, this is an open world game. This is about immersion potentially. This is less, I think, about gameplay. And I think Bethesda knows this. That's why they don't put a lot of gameplay into this game, in my opinion. Because exploring fucking sucks. Combat is basic AF. Loot is basic AF. There's no crafting. Research and getting resources to research is annoying because you have to make buildings on planets, which you can't easily do, which I understand, but this is not like the... But you also can't tell NPCs to do that for you, which then would be another gameplay aspect where I'm like, oh, this sounds interesting. Doesn't fucking exist, I think. So it's like... Next gen. Roy. I know this will take an ungodly amount of work and money to make what I think of. But again, you don't need to make a world that is as big as Starfield. You can compress it all down by 50%, or again, Skyrim level, with multiple planets, with small planets around it, that roughly has the same square meters as Skyrim, if you want a little bit bigger, and just fill it to the brim with content, right? But I think I literally found planets that were empty AF. Why? Why do you exist? Right? Like, why? I understand that sometimes it might be interesting to have an empty planet, but I would also just like I would also like a planet that then maybe has some sort of like mini game, right? With like the one idea I had, which I'm not a genius in this stuff, and I can't imagine that the game designers at Bethesda, right, don't have the same idea, or that they don't actually do that, which is imagine. Oh, sorry, this is actually part of the main quest where you go to that one guy. I think that, well, if you ask him, I think about the world, he will tell you. Anyways, I don't even know. Anyways, so my idea for getting resources would be you have an NPC or some character that does the mining while you protect him from monsters. And it gives you a ton of resources, right? Or even he builds you stuff while you protect him from a variety of monsters and pirates that are like coming in, right? Like, that would be so sick. Nah. You can't even, like, if you see a resource on the ground, like, I think I found, like, water, and I needed water for some research, but I don't know how to get water, right? I see the water, right? I literally have the scanner on, I think later on, I don't know where.
Let's talk about more.
This is some area, this is some area. I think I'm alone here. Was it here? That is when I went back, then I was walking around again. I was on the toilet. I was in an abandoned mine. There's another artifact. Yeah, right here. I think this is it. I think this is actually it. Right? No, yeah, there it is. So I was struggling again, you know, how to do certain things. Because you can't actually go into the surface map very easily, I think. At least I couldn't. So yeah. Yeah. H2O water. I'm literally looking at water. I need water for a research. And you can't just mine it, grab it, break it, do something with it. It's just there. I think, I don't know how to get it. Maybe I didn't have the right tool, but then again, tutorials are a thing. Just fucking tell me how. But what the game, I think, actually wants you to do is, yeah, then I also found like some gas, right? And I would have loved to see what that does, but I can't because the game wants you to actually have these buildings. Just technically you place your base on the planet, similar to No Man's Sky, which is an aspect I fucking hate. That's why I don't like the game. Where you place a base on the planet to then build stuff in that rectangle or in that square, which will pump out the water and resources and mine stuff for you, right? And I'm like, man. And again, these buildings are not easy to make. They're actually were difficult. I think I didn't make a single building beside, hey, this is my base now. And then I couldn't build anything because it was just not easy to do. Because it's not like it's not like a gradual thing, right? You start off with the most basic stuff that gives you a little bit of water and a little bit of resource and a little bit of this, right? And then you maybe have to go back every once in a while to repair it, and it gives you a message of like, hey, your stuff broke, you need to go back, and you're like, oh, I got it. Like, that would be an interesting gameplay loop, right? Where you build something really shitty that gives you a little bit, and then you build it up over time and get something monstrous. Like, you build out your, I don't know, a monstrous machine to finally get a ton of water or whatever, or the resource you want from this planet. No, there's nothing like that. I think there's just like you go from, I have a base that I apparently can just say, mine now, screw you guys. And then it's, I think, a monster. It's like an oil rig. I think it's maybe smaller than an oil rig, but it's still massive, right? And I'm like, is this really, couldn't you just do a gradual thing? You know, start off with something small that gets me a little bit of something, right? And then just, that's also easier to craft and make, and so you introduce me to the content, right? And it's like, oh, cool, okay, I can get a little bit of water with this small thing, but there's this big thing I can research and craft, which then gives me 4 times as much water. Like, whoa, that's crazy, right? And then there's something that gives me 10 times as much, right? Anything, gameplay. I'm so sad. Because if I think of this stuff, how did no one else think of this? You know, that's what I'm thinking. Also, by the way, NPCs just get stuck like this. Or enemies get stuck like this, you know, happens. I think the weapon I also have right now is like a legendary pistol I got, so it's like super strong. So that was nice. I mean, again, I play on easy. But yeah, there's like so many ideas, so many gameplay things where I'm like, man, God, I wish this, it was in a game, but it isn't. And then you're like, this is not in the game. No, makes it feel empty. No, this is not in the game. No, it feels empty. No, this is not in the game. Right? And at some point it's like, what even is this game at that point? buildings that were made with random enemies in it that drop sometimes okay loot, but mostly you sell everything because money, credits. But exploring these buildings is annoying because you don't run to, because you have to run to them, which is super slow. It's like, I actually slowly fell asleep while playing the game. It was so boring. It was so boring because you don't really do much. It feels like the fun is missing, right? It's a beautiful game. It's a beautiful how good it looks. It's incredible. But again, visuals only get you so far. You need gameplay in your game. You need to give me stuff that I can do. And it's just not here. It's such a shame. And I don't know if mods can do something with this. And this is also not about mods, right? I want to, like, what is the vanilla game that I'm buying for 60 or 70 bucks? FYI, I haven't mentioned this actually at the beginning. I should have. I will definitely mention it right away in my YouTube video of Starfield that I want to do over probably the next week. Talking about the similar topics that I've talked about right now, but not over 2 hours. I didn't buy this game. I actually got it through Xbox Game Pass. So technically it was free. Kind of, right? And I'm glad I didn't, because I would feel incredibly scammed if I paid 70 bucks for this game and couldn't refund it after 8 hours. Because those 8 hours weren't good 8 hours. Like, I had a honeymoon phase for maybe like the first hour or first 45 minutes, and then I quickly realized, guys, there's something missing. Ooh, there's also something missing. Ooh, there's also something, right? I'm like, how am I realizing this? And Bethesda, who worked on this for 5 years, didn't. I'm like, I don't know. Oh, by the way, my health was low. Did you realize it? Because I don't see anything in my camera view. There are two things. On the bottom right, you see your health. That's the only visual aspect you get. Actually looking at your health bar, which is the worst, because that's usually not where you look. You look at the enemy, so there should be something in the middle that tells you, or around the screen, right? We have figured this out like 20 years ago. Sorry, the second thing is sound. But for example, if you listen to a podcast, or if you look at YouTube videos in the background, or do anything else, or have the volume just lower, you're fucked. And that's, I think, how I died like once or twice, or 2-3 times. I don't know. But once on the ship, and I think once as a person, or like, you know, just being around here. Yeah. Yeah. Such a shame, you know. I'm still like thinking, man, should I play? I mean, I can't play Starfield right now. I'm sorry, because of OBS and certain, I don't know, just technical issues, I guess. The game hates, I guess, OBS. I'm just thinking, man. There's like a little voice in my head that is like, hey, you know, play Starfield, try it, you know, play it again, you know. And God, I wish I want to explore the game. But I know that I have sucked the game dry in about 10 minutes after starting the game. Because I will fast travel to a planet, run around, kill all enemies, pick up all the loot, be overcumbered. It's as going back to my ship, because you can't fast travel when you're encumbered or overcumbered or just overweight. It's as running back to my ship, then I have to travel to 2 or 3 planets to actually sell all my stuff, because the vendor credits is constantly empty, because I'm, you know, draining their bank account, because apparently I have so much loot like no one else on this in this galaxy. And then after traveling to 3 vendors, what do I do with my credits? I buy ammo. To rinse and repeat that over and over. Because ships don't matter. Because you don't travel faster to planets. You might have more damage. But again, a proper ship costs like 100-something thousand credits. I haven't figured out the crew, but doesn't seem that interesting or important. I think they might be able to help you with your buildings on planets so you can actually, get resources. But as I discussed, these buildings suck ass, right? Making the buildings is annoying because you need resources that I don't know how to get because the game doesn't properly do that because that's not properly thought through. It's not like No Man's Sky, right? Where you just look at a resource and be like, oh, cool. And you get it. That's not this game. Rarely. I think there are a few rocks or something, right? But, yeah. And then, I'm done with the game again after 10 minutes here. After realizing, oh, okay, yeah. There's like so many hurdles or so many annoying things where I'm like, no, I don't want to do this. And it's such a shame. It's very depressing stream. Sorry for now. But yeah, it's like I want to like this game, but it's like it's constantly like kicking my shin, and I'm like, please. How did no one in 5 years of development thought of the most basic gameplay ideas that I think of in the first 50 minutes of playing the game? Maybe 2 hours of playing the game. I don't understand. I truly don't. And I'm not talking about some enemies, right? Because certain enemies and combat, by the way, it's stuck in the goddamn control thing. Anyways, and I'm talking about certain enemies and boss fights, right? I'm not talking about that because that might clash with the story they want to tell and the universe and, like the aliens that make sense for that world, right? For Starfield, right? I'm talking about literally a vehicle that is in my ship that rolls out that I can jump in and travel across the planet. How is that? I mean, maybe it's in the game. I haven't found it. It's clearly not obvious enough. Oh yeah, by the way, I was running out of ammo right here. So this super strong enemy, which is by the way level 20, and I think I was level 6. So yeah, I just killed with the knife. So got him. Yeah, there you go. Killed him. Yeah, I'm gonna skip through all this, and I think right now, around here, I was realizing. I think right now, was this here? Yeah, this is 4 hours. So this is like close after my close to the end of my first session, because this is where I realized a lot of issues with the game that I have been talking about in the past hour and 44 minutes or hour and 30 minutes. This is where I realized I have to go back to my ship. And I can't fast travel. And by the way, I also realized, I'm right here, right? I'm right here. And this is where life science is. And I'm like, that sounds interesting. But I sure as fuck won't walk that way. Because it's long. It already took like a few minutes to walk from my ship to this. And nothing happened, right? These are minutes that you're literally doing nothing. You aren't doing anything. You're just running and looking at stuff, right? Again, visuals, cool, but no, give me something better. So yeah, I now realized I have to go back to my ship. I'm encumbered. I have too much loot. I don't want to leave the loot because I want the credits, and I fought for this loot, so I obviously want to use, I want to sell it. And yeah, I think I was like looking, and I was like then thinking, oh yeah, let me, get weightlifting. Let me use actually my skill point to get more weight, but 10 kilograms is fuck all. Because now I think I had, now I had, instead of 160, I have now 170 mass. So as you can see on the bottom here, went from 160 to 170, but bro, I have 211, right? Like that's not enough. So yeah, I then did the most painful thing. By the way, I think I found more loot somewhere else. And now I had to take the long and painful journey back to my ship while I struggled with CO2, having to stop walking sometimes, and I'm finally back at the ship. Who the fuck at Bethesda, who designs games, thought this is a good idea? I have... Holy shit. I think I can come up with 5 better ideas before I accept this, right? From I call up a drone that takes my loot and flies it to my ship, to calling Vasco on some sort of telecommunication device like a fucking phone and be like, yo Vasco, come here, I got some loot, I'm encumbered. He runs over, I throw it into him and say run back to the ship and throw it in my cargo. He does that, boom, done. To actually having a vehicle I can jump on, or because it's technically zero gravity or sci-fi stuff, how about you just give me unlimited oxygen, or maybe I have an oxygen tank with me, or some device that sucks out the oxygen from the air so I can just run. There's so many better ideas before you say, yeah, the character is encumbered, oxygen levels drop, CO2 levels rise. Oh well, you lose health. Oh well. Man. And that's the crazy part. I wish it would have all these things that I'm talking about, right? Because that just makes sense. I would have fucking, if I would have known what they had in mind in 2019 for this game, I would have written them an email and be like, guys, add this, for the love of fucking God, I see an issue already. 4 years later, they couldn't come up with something better. Also, it's also not like, wow, that's a lot of work they have to put in. I am 1,000% sure that isn't difficult to make. You can't tell me that some UI where you call Vasco, I think his name is Vasco, your robot, right? You call Vasco. Path tracing? He figures out the way to your place. He runs over with his fast-ass robot legs. Or you meet in the middle, or he just runs towards you, right? He runs towards you. You open the inventory he has. Maybe make a separate inventory where you can drop stuff into him. You drop all your loot into his stuff. Actually, even better, why am I not jumping on Vasco and run back on him? Again, I figured this out right now. How did they not figure this out in 4 or 5 years of development? I'm shooketh. So yeah, that was my playtime with Starfield. Or at least the first 4 hours, where I'm like, I think I was literally sitting, like, I'm not moving, as you can see, right? I'm literally sitting here and I was like contemplating fucking life. Like, how did we come here? How did we come here after 5 years of game development of this game, and now they bring us this, which is Fallout in space, with none of the improvements or problems they caused to themselves by adding a weight system and, you know, a stamina system to running, which I think it was already in Fallout, right? But like, probably also wouldn't enjoy Fallout anymore now. I feel like I also had like weight issue, but again, that's fine if it's the first game and then people realize, okay, this is an issue. Yep, it's our first game. We tried. These are the issues. We got it. And then you write them on a list and then you fucking fix them in the next game. Or give people the option. I feel like the skill system is definitely a little bit of a band-aid for them. Because you can have a ton of added kilograms that you can have, right, mass-wise. But it's like, again, there are like 6 different options I can probably come up with if you give me a day. And then it probably takes, I don't know, then you take 2 ideas that are simple to add for this game, and then you add them in the next month. Done. It's in the game. It's just pure improvement. One is the drone idea and one is Vasco. Vasco has an inventory, slap it in and say, run back. Run back to the ship. I'll follow you. All right, cool. And the other one is the drone, where I just, you know, call up a drone that comes down. Literally, we have drones right now, you know, Amazon packages. And I put a little bit of loot in there, you know, maybe like 30 kilograms. And then it just flies away back to my ship. And then it's in my ship cargo, ship inventory, right? How on earth did they not think of this? This would solve the weight issue, which causes the oxygen issue, right? Still doesn't matter that the loot sucks in this game, but you know, that doesn't fix that. But yeah, woof. Oh well. All right, that was my first 4 hours. Hope you enjoyed that at least a little bit. That was tough. It's tough. I don't like talking about games and issues and disliking something. I love talking about a game that I enjoy. But man, sometimes you gotta. Sometimes you gotta, I think. I don't know. This game is 2 days old. 3 days. Wait, how old is it? No, wait, it came out on Wednesday. Yeah, it's 5 days old. It's tough. Actually, I haven't even checked. What are these user reviews? I mean, keep in mind, Metacritic is a goddamn meme, in my opinion, and I don't check that. Yeah, that's fine. That's roughly what I would say. 6.3 user score. Yeah, I would definitely say it's about a 6 out of 10, right? In some aspects, it's like visually it's amazing, but as a game that I enjoy, like, again, after 8 hours, I'm done with the game. I'm like mentally exhausted of playing Starfield. Literally mentally exhausted of like so many issues that are so obvious to me, where I'm like, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a mod for it to fix it. And there's such a core problem that I realized after playing the game for like a few hours. And yeah, then I'm like, yeah, I'm just not going to continue playing it because it's just a pain in the ass to play the game, right? Because it's such a core problem. And a core problem is a much bigger issue because you constantly interact with it, right? It's like constantly like someone like peeks you with a needle. It's like, just gets annoying, right? Yeah. Oh well. That was Starfield and my first impression over 1 hour and 45 minutes, more or less. I think there were a few more things I want to talk about, but yeah, I think that was good. I need a break after this, but